Question. You say reality is one, oneness. Unity is the attribute of the person. Is it then reality a person with the universe as its body? Maharaj, whatever you may say will be both true and false. Words do not reach beyond the mind. So he's talking about paradox. Questioner, I'm just trying to understand. You're telling us of the person, the self, and the supreme. The light of pure awareness, focused as I am in the self, and consciousness illumines the mind, and as life vitalizes the body. All this is fine as far as words go, but when it comes to distinguishing in myself the person from the self and the self from the supreme, I get mixed up. Maharaj, the person is never the subject. You can see a person, but you are not the person. You are always the supreme, which appears at a given point of time and space as the witness. There we go in witness, consciousness, observer consciousness. It's pretty high level. A bridge between the pure awareness and the supreme and the manifold consciousness of the person. See, as witness, all of a sudden we're that little kid who's playing a video game with the controller unplugged and his hands sweating as he's trying to control the thing, and then realizes the controller's unplugged, and then he can just sit back and watch without fighting it. Letting go of control and trusting. When I look at myself, I find I am several persons fighting among themselves for the use of the body. Maharaj, they correspond to the various tendencies of the mind. Can I make peace between them? How can you? They are so contradictory. See them as they are, mere habits of thought and feeling, bundles of memory and urges. Yet they all say, I am. It's only because you identify yourself with them. Once you realize that whatever appears before you cannot be yourself and cannot say I am, you are free of all your persons and their demands. The sense I am is your own. You cannot part with it, but you can impart it to anything, as in saying, I am young, I am rich, etc. But such self-identifications are patently false and the cause of bondage. I don't completely agree with that statement. If you're able to hold it in paradox, that's a lot of Neville Goddard's work. Being able to own what the I am is defining the character in that moment. If you become attached to it and set it as an infinite, then it's bondage. As a temporary, it's a form of manifestation as long as it's not done with attachment. Nisgardatta actually updates his stuff in his his last books. He's not exactly making new books anymore. So I can understand about the person, but that which, when reflected in the person, gives it a sense of being. Now about the Supreme. In what way do I know myself as a Supreme? The source of consciousness cannot be an object in consciousness. To know the source is to be the source. When you realize that you're not the person, but the pure and calm witness, and the fearless awareness is your very being. You are the being in the source, the inexhaustible possibility. You are the infinite. Are there many sources or one for all? This is the angle you look at it from. It's like a gem, has many faces, but it's one gem, but it shows 1,000 different objects. So it depends on how you look at it, from which end. You have the wide angle, you have the zoom. The objects in the world are many, but the eye that sees them is one. The higher always appears as one to the lower, and the lower appears as many to the higher. So shapes and names are all of one and the same God. And this is described really well in Taoism. So again, it all depends on how you look at it. On the verbal level, everything is relative. That's discernment, that's separation. Absolutes should be experienced, not discussed. Absolutes are held in a different part of the brain. The conscious linear mind is incapable of processing it, so we'll tend to reduce it and turn it into a story. So how's the absolute experienced? It's not an object to be recognized and stored up in memory. It is the present and in feeling. Rather, it has more to do with the how than the what. It is in the quality, in the value, in being the source of everything. It is in everything. So you can't grasp it. Taoism says this. It's only done by letting go, by going into that wide angle, by going into that trust, into the fullness, into the awareness. So if it's the source, why and how does it manifest itself? Well, it gives birth to consciousness. All else is in consciousness. Why are there so many centers of consciousness? The objective universe is in constant movement, projecting and dissolving innumerable forms. Whatever form is infused with life, prana, consciousness, chaitanya, appears by reflecting the awareness in matter. So how is the Supreme affected? What can affect it and how? The source is not affected by the vagaries of the river, nor the metal, by the shape of the jewelry. Is a light affected by the picture on the screen? The Supreme makes everything possible. It is not affected. It is the infinite. It is the projector. How is it that some things happen and some don't? Seeking out cause is a pastime of the mind. It's trying to collapse the infinite. It doesn't work. It's going into that safety of the rational. The rational is the only intelligence capable of lying. There is no duality of cause and effect. Yeah, let go of that. You'll probably cry for a while. Everything is its own cause. It's like a dream. Yes, if I'm in a dream and I hit a baseball, I could describe dream physics. The fact is, the projector is making the ball come to the bat. The projector is making the ball go away from the bat. So there's no purposeful action that's possible. All I may say is consciousness contains all. In consciousness, all is possible. You can have cause if you want them in your world. Another way, you may be content with a single cause. God's will is the root cause. I am everything. So you could play that game. What is the link between the self and the Supreme? From the self's point of view, the world is known. The Supreme, the unknown. The unknown gives birth to the known, yet remains unknown. The known is infinite, but the unknown is an infinitude of infinities. Just like a ray of light is never seen unless intercepted by the specks of dust, so the Supreme makes everything known, but it keeps itself hidden. Doesn't mean the unknown is inaccessible. Oh no, the Supreme is the easiest thing to reach, for it's your very being. It is enough to stop thinking and desiring anything but the Supreme. And if I desire nothing, not even the Supreme, well then you're as good as dead, or you're the Supreme. The world is full of desires. Everyone wants something. Who's the desirer, the person, or the self? Well, the self. All desires, holy and unholy, come from the self. They all hang on the sense of I am. I can understand holy desires emanating from the self, but why unholy? All desires aim at happiness. Their shape and quality depend on the psyche. Where inertia predominates, we'll find perversions. Where energy, passions arise. With lucidity, the motives are goodwill, compassion, and the urge to make happy rather than unhappy. But the Supreme is beyond all, yet because of its infinite permeability, all cogent desires can be fulfilled, good, bad, and ugly. Period. What desires are cogent? Desires that destroy their subjects or objects do not subside on satisfaction, are self-contradictory, and cannot be fulfilled. Only desires motivated by love, goodwill, and compassion are beneficial to both the subject and object and can be fully satisfied. So are your desires coming from love and abundance, or are they coming from fear? It's really that simple. That's going to be God versus devil. All desires are painful, the holy as well as the unholy. They are not the same, and pain is not the same. Passion is painful, compassion never. The entire universe strives to fulfill a desire born of compassion. Does the Supreme know itself, or is the impersonal conscious? The source has all. Whatever flows from it must be there already in seed form, and as a seed is the last of innumerable seeds and contains the experience and the promise of numberless forests, so does the unknown contain all that was, could be, or will be. The entire field of becoming is open and accessible. Are you living in the Supreme Unknown? Where else? What makes you say so? No desires ever arise in my mind. Then you're unconscious? Of course not, I'm fully conscious. But since no desire or fear enters my mind, there is perfect silence. But who knows the silence? Silence knows itself. It is the silence of the silent mind when passions and desires are silenced. Do you experience desire occasionally? Desires are just waves in the mind. You know a wave when you see one. A desire is a thing among many. I feel no urge to satisfy it. No action needs to be taken. Freedom from desire means this: the compulsion to satisfy is absent. That's key. Why do the desires arise at all? Because imagine that you were born and you will die and you do not take care of your body. Desire for embodied existence is the root cause of trouble. So, who's the ultimate experiencer, the self or the unknown? Why the self, of course. Then why introduce the notion of the Supreme Unknown? To explain the self. But is there anything beyond the self? Outside the self, there is nothing. All is one and contained in the I am. In the waking and dream state, it is the person. In the sleep state and turiya, it is the self. Beyond the alert intentness of turiya lies the great silent peace of the Supreme. But in fact, all is one, in essence, and related to appearance. In ignorance, the seer becomes a seeing, and in wisdom, he is the seeing. But why be concerned with the Supreme? Know the knowers, and all will be known. So, this is very similar to chapter 1 of the Tao Te Ching. The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth. So that's that void he talks about, which precedes the creation of matter, or the still mind. And it can't be named because you can't collapse it into the known. The Tao is too big for the mind to hold. It's what comes before. It's kind of like in the Bible, the name of God cannot be said. The named is the mother of the 10,000 things. Once the mind starts labeling, we put everything into its boxes. Ever desireless, one can see the mystery. Ever desiring, one can see the manifestation. So what part of mind are we in? These two spring from the same source, but differ in name. This appears as darkness. Darkness within darkness is the gate to all mystery.